Well guys, welcome back to the bushing series of the C5Z behind me. If you watched the video, you know I did the front poly bushings last week. They turned out amazing the way the car feels, so now I gotta do the back or rear. Let's roll that little intro and we'll get into it. Alright, so if you haven't watched the first video yet, feel free to watch that first. A lot of good info. This is my first time doing poly bushings on any Corvette platform, and it really livened up the car. The steering response, feel, confidence, there's no slop anymore. It feels great. I can't stress enough. For such a cheap modification, outstanding. Now, bushings suck. Doing bushings, it's not a fun job, but it's rewarding knowing how the car feels. That helps to motivate you at all. So, like the front, I did both top and bottom control arms. I'll be doing the rear, top and bottom control arms. There are more bushings in the rear. There's 14 total, 7 on each side. There's 8 total up front. But this job shouldn't be too bad, honestly. In the rear, I will not be doing either upper or lower ball joints. They both seem to be in good working order. If I get in there, one's totally dicked up, I'll change it, but I think we're gonna be okay. This is gonna be more a drill on just doing bushings, taking off one control arm at a time, show you how I push them out, and how I push the new ones back in, the right way to grease them, and getting them in. And then after this, we will be doing an alignment. The alignment was off just a little bit. I mean, you got to think, you're going from deteriorated rubber to poly, and there's no give. So a little bit of the camber's a little off, the alignment's just off just a little bit, but no big deal. All right, so real quick, I'll show you the bushings you get in the kit. The rear are red. I could not source black ones in a short time frame. I don't know. They're both the same damn thing. I just wanted black, it looks more OE, but I get red in the back, is what it is. So I'll show you the bushings like I said, and then I'm gonna do the driver's side off camera. So I've got a good feel for it, so when I film it on the passenger side here, it'll be smooth and no hiccups. Everything you're gonna need to do this job, you can find it down below, or just watch the video and you'll see how I do it. So real quick, why there's a lot more in the back. So each rear upper control arm, we're gonna have 2, so you get one on both sides. In the front, it's just one on both sides, so 4 total for just the uppers, if that makes sense. That'll make more sense once we get there. I believe these 2 guys right here, the biggest ones, are for your lower shock mounts. Your lower shock just slides, kind of goes over top like this, and you get a little a dowel in the middle there. And then both of these are for, I believe, your rear or your trailing edge of your control arm, and this is your forward edge of your control arm. That's why there's 7 per side versus 4 up front, just in case you were confused. Oh, and there are little part numbers on this guy, if you can see right there. And when we get to there, I'll show you exactly why there's part numbers on them. And these do have specific spots they need to go. Okay, just wrapping up the driver's side here. Now the rear end's a little more dynamic. I found myself cursing a lot more than the front, but not an impossible job. Now the lower ball joint was good. Looks pretty new. The upper was totally shot, so I went ahead and removed it. I'm waiting on a replacement in the mail, so until then my knuckle's just kind of hanging out. If you have a Z06, it's kind of nice because your little air duct can hold your brake caliper. That's a little plus. I will say getting these back in is tight, much tighter than the fronts, but they're in there. Man, this thing is freaking solid, dude. So all right, so I'm gonna walk you through all the steps on the passenger side. We'll do a little hyperlapse. I'll show you a few tips that would have saved me some trouble, if that helps at all. Let's go over to the passenger side. Okay, a couple things though in the rear that's different from the front. That when the knuckle comes off, you have your e-brake, of course, so you gotta feed this guy up through your knuckle. It's got like a little press-in deal. It's kind of push these in and it'll pop out to the top of the knuckle, and it just connects to your little drum brake. It comes off really, really easily. Yes, there's only one cam in the back. The leading edge has a cam, not the trailing edge. Oh, and to get the cam bolt out, the front one, you have to take the cover off of your fuel tank here. It's 2 bolts. There's a 10mm outboard, and then there's a 13 on the inside. Kind of awkward to get to, but not too hard. I feel the upper control arms are much easier in the rear. The lowers are much more of a pain in the ass. They're really tight in the back for whatever reason. So yeah, we'll go ahead and start with the uppers here. I'm gonna go ahead and get this ball joint off of here. I'm just gonna cut it off. So I gotta take it off anyway, so it just makes it easier. So I'm gonna do that off camera, and then I'm gonna show you how to press these guys out and press the new ones in. Super simple. Right. I found the easiest way to get bushings out of your control arms is just use a scissor jack and a socket. Super simple. This rubber is very old and it does press out really easily. You're not gonna hurt the control arm. And for both the top and bottom, it works just the same. Get it lined up, give it a few turns, and it's gonna pop right out. I see so many people struggling to get these damn things out. Just like that. And then flip it over and do the other side. All right, so both the bushings are out. They are slightly different in size. I believe the forward one's the bigger one. It doesn't matter, because once you put these guys in, they'll only go in a certain way. To get these off, super, super simple. It's actually kind of fun. Just gonna take these guys, put them in there, and kind of tighten it up a little bit. Take a fresh blade, make our life a little easier. And for both of these, make a little cut. This rubber's pretty soft. Well, somewhat soft. We're not looking for perfection here. Just like that. And that's the most work you have to do to get them off. We're gonna take a torch, put it inside of here for about 3 minutes. Once it gets hot, this is gonna expand. You can squeeze this and it'll pop right out. You get a lot of smoke coming out of it. Once the crackle and pop, you're almost there. All right, we're almost there. Starting to pop a little bit. Squish it a little bit. And take her right on out. Easy day. All right, I'm gonna do the second one real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, while those are cooling off, we're gonna put our bushings in. Now that these top control arms are super easy. One bore's a little bigger. You can't mess this up. You just squish right in. Easy day. Now when we do the bottom control arm, that's when the part number actually matters. They all look similar, but they're all 3 different. Cool. So now we're going to clean up those little rods and then slip them in. I picked up this little wire wheel yesterday at Lowe's, like $4 or $5. Total game changer. Takes 2 seconds to clean these guys up now. All right, let me finish both of these guys, get them cleaned up, and then we'll slip them in. Okay, these little guys. God damn. All right, both my little metal dowels are cleaned up. I'm gonna be very liberal with some lubricant, some grease inside of these guys. I'm just gonna lightly tap these in with a rubber mallet, about a quarter of the way in, and just use the vise to press them in. Super simple. Kind of like that. Remember, there are 2 bushings. It does bind sometimes going in, but kind of force it. It'll overcome it. There we go. Easy day. And this vise sucks, by the way. I just bought this damn thing temporarily. I am eventually going to redo my garage. Get a decent one. I actually bent the damn thing. Some no-name brand from Lowe's. I don't know. Yeah, all these bushings, man, these things are tight. I mean, which is good with what you want. The tolerance is crazy. Cool. And there we go. Boom, top is good to go. This one's pretty painless. So for the bottoms, a little more involved. We're gonna do the control arm similar how we did the top with, I say similar, identical, push them out with the scissor jack, and the bottom one, we're gonna push it out with the ball joint tool, and then we'll go from there. All right, lower control arm time. I'm gonna do these the same way to the upper, my scissor jack. We pop these out real quick, and I'll show you how we're gonna handle the one for your the shock bushing down here. All right, so the back two are off. You'll notice that this one's got a little bigger of a, what do you call it, it's like a collar. This is gonna be for your cammed side, which is this guy up here, this guy down here. This one does not have the cam on it, like I stated earlier. So these are different. All three of these are different on the inside, and I'll show you exactly what they look like. All right, let me go ahead and show you how I'm gonna get this guy out, and then we'll go from there. So for the shock bushing right there, I just zip it out with the ball joint tool. I don't do it on these only because the cups I have are a little bit too small to fit over these. It kind of gets cockeyed. That's why I push it out with a scissor jack. And either way you want to do it's totally fine. So it should zip on out real quick. Got to get a little creative here. A little cup to it. We should be good. There we go. Cool. All the bushings are out. Let's go ahead and get all the rubber off them. I'll go from there. All right, and all three of these are done the same way. Put them in the vise. Not too tight, a little snug. Cut a nice little hole in this guy. Take your torch, put it inside for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then just unwrap it. Now, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but the little slit in the middle, ever so slightly grows just a little bit. It's almost like cooking a hot dog. Oh, there it goes. Isn't that cool? All right. And it kind of tells you when it's ready. So that's good. And honestly, if I can squeeze this little guy, it might come right on out. Yep, it sure is. Easy day. The one with the 2 collars on it, you got to get one side of it off. How I do that is with my vise, a punch, and a mini sledge. Put it up against the lip and just bang it off. See if I can do it on camera. There we go. If you go wax, it'll come right off. All 3 of these guys cleaned up real quick. All right, all my little rods are cleaned up here. Now you're gonna match the certain rod to the bushing here. The one labeled 3332, this is your forward one on your lower control arm. And it's one with the collared piece. So we know this is the only one with the collared piece, so this guy's gonna go right there. I put these on before they go in the control arm. It's much easier, trust me. And then once we get this in, we'll put the collar piece back on. That'll make sense when you see it. 3333. This one's gonna go for your strut, or shock, whatever you wanna call it. The one with the bigger opening is gonna go in this guy, because this is gonna have your strut, your large strut bolt through it. And these things do go right in. This is the easy part. And then lastly, of course, last one left, 3331. This is gonna go on your lower control arm in the rear. When I did this, now I use a lot of grease. I ran out of the stuff that was supplied, so I'm using some red and tacky marine grease, which I love. It gets in all the little grooves inside of it. Yeah, now that's the easy part. Now the hard part is getting these in the control arm, which I'll show you right now. Okay, so when I was doing the other side, the driver's side, I was taking these guys, I was lining it up, I was using this guy, and it took me about an hour and a half just to get one of these in. And another 2 hours to get one of these in. I was pissed. So by the time I got both of those in, it was like 2-3 hours. The last one would just not go in. Again, this is for when I was doing the driver's side. I ended up looking up a YouTube video on a correct way to get these damn things in. I'll put the YouTuber's name right here, give him some credit for it. Very clever design. This is just a piece of threaded rod, 1/2 inch, with a with the nut and some washers, 2.5 inch washers on it. Yeah, I'll show you how I set it up here to zip these in. If you don't use something like this, you're gonna fight yourself and you're just gonna get pissed. And that's exactly what happened to me. This made my life so much easier. Hopefully this saves you guys a lot of time, whoever's doing it. So let me get this set up how I do it and I'll show you real quick. All right, this isn't the fastest way of doing it, but it'll get it in there. Just 2 adjustable wrenches on both sides and just you're gonna inch it in. I need 2 hands to do this. Once I get it through, I'll show you how it looks and you zip it right in. And then just like this, slow and steady is gonna win this race. And I'll just zip it all the way in. It will eventually hit this guy right there. At that point, just take it off and use your vise to squish it in the rest of the way. And I'm gonna do the same thing for the other 2. And again, this one is 3333, 3332 for up here, your forward bushing, and then your rear bushing is 3331 right there, so no confusion. All right, let me finish this real quick. All right, so I got 2 of them in so far. Whatever reason, both this side and the other side, the forward bushing with the cam has been a total just pain to get in. Even with the special tool, it keeps wanting to bind and go sideways. Just take your time with this. Even with this tool, it took me 3 or 4 different times to get it in just right. You want it nice and perpendicular. Crummy job. This little guy though will help so much. I think the total cost of this was like $14 or something. Oh, real quick, so the little dowel back here, it's too small to fit this 1/2 inch rod through. So I had to knock out this one, put it in there temporarily, because without anything inside, without a dowel inside of it, it doesn't have enough integrity and it keeps and it'll keep binding and flopping around. So it's gotta be kind of straight and narrow. So make sure you have one of the dowel pins in there. So yeah, I just switched this one in there temporarily and then knock it back out. Put it back in there, but it's in. Man, it just sucks. I know filming this, it looks like I did this in like 5 minutes, but it took me probably an hour to get all 3 of these in. It's just a pain, man. So prepared for a good 20-minute fight per bushing, but again, not impossible. All right, I'm gonna put these control arms back in the car. I'm still waiting on my upper ball joints to get this thing back on the ground, but I'm gonna put this back in the car, both upper and lower control arms. And if there's any issues, I will let you know. All right, they're in. Holy cow. This side was a little easier. Some advice though, when you put the little collar piece on for the cam side, really squish the hell out of it in the vise. I mean, as much as you can. Put a breaker bar on there and really get that thing tight. There is 0 tolerance. We're talking thousandths of an inch clearance to get the guy in. Once you get it kind of started, kind of tap it in with a little sledge. This side went in pretty easily. Up here, these are kind of a boner. I sprayed some WD-40, kind of tap them in a little easier. Got my strut in, and then tomorrow my upper ball joints will be here. I can finish, get the knuckle in. That'll take all of a few minutes, both sides. Next video, we'll be going to get alignment on Monday. It is Friday night now. And then I got some Mini Cooper stuff next week. Yeah, I'm done. All these bushings. 22, I think, total bushings. The entire car. There's a lot. Well, I guess 26 if you include all the sway bar ones as well. Well, that's going to do it for this video, guys. I'll catch you guys next time. Mark out.